has run amok. Legislation by rule making has become a matter of course.
Because of congressional
And that is
obstruction.
an issue that
Please stop disrupting the meeting.
On other issues that we're finding out here, and the beauty of being back in the district, you do have the opportunity here, all across the board concerns, is the issue of where we go with immigration. It's a crucial issue. This district is the #1 ag district in the state of Michigan, the 7th district of Michigan. Michigan is the #2 most diverse ag state in the Union, second only to California. That's significant. The United States is a country of immigrants. I'm first generation American. My father, uncle, grandparents came over from Sweden during the height of the potato famine there. Grandma Walberg wanted the opportunity for her sons that America afforded. And while she cleaned rich people's houses in the North Shore of Chicago, Winnetka, Wilmette, Glencoe area, sewed clothes for the ladies there in those homes, she understood that was a privileged opportunity for her, so her sons could be in the same schools that those rich family sons were in. That was America. And so we need to find a way that immigration continues to go in this country strongly, to increase our gene pool, to bring in creativity and opportunity, provide workforce, whatever, in high tech or in low tech or non-tech, whatever it is, as well as give people like my grandmother and grandfather and my father opportunities that America affords like no other nation in the world. And yet, the majority of American people, I believe, agree that that still has to be done legally. We have to take out unnecessary burdens and bureaucratic red tape. We also have to make it clear that we will be a nation of laws. And so those are things that we're dealing with, and we'll be coming back in September, and those issues will be aggressively pursued along with a budget that hasn't been passed for 6 years now, including the 2 years that the Democrats controlled both houses and the White House. Still, they didn't pass a budget. In the past 3 years, we have passed a budget in the House all 3 of those years, and we passed it on time. In fact, this year early, we passed the budget. Still sits in the Senate. So most likely we will end up doing something that is really unconstitutional, and that's a continuing resolution. And trying to insert policy in place and continue to reduce unnecessary spending, which we have been capable of doing. At this point, we're at 2008 actual spending levels. That includes the sequester that the president offered. It was his idea. He wouldn't negotiate for anything else, and so it became reality. And fortunately, that a minor 2% across the board cut has not had any significant impact. And so at least the baseline has been lowered as a result of that, from which we build upon. So those are issues of concern, issues that we're going to take on aggressively. We understand that compromise is necessary to a point, but there is a line that ought to be drawn. It's called the Constitution, that we must not cross. And so anyway, having said that, I think that's enough of introduction. We want to spend the rest of the time of our 50 minutes left or so with questions from you. The only rules, as those of you, and I look out here and I see many of you have been to town hall meetings with me before, the only rule we have is we ask a question, keep it as brief as possible. Everybody gets an opportunity for the first before we give second questions, and we don't talk over each other. Other than that, that's it. So you had your hand up, let's go to your question.
Yeah, I noticed that you didn't vote for gun care reform one way or the other. Why is that?
Gun care reform?
Gun control.
Gun control.
Yeah.
Which bills were those bills? I'm a Second Amendment supporter. I'm not going to restrict the Second Amendment. That's one
No,
thing.
nobody's going to take anybody's job. I'm talking about registering people so that criminals and mentally ill cannot obtain guns. Anybody can, you know, like,
Frankly, we have laws on that now already. The concern is that,
you can go to a gun show and buy a gun without any background check
that's not
whatsoever.
true.
Yes, it
And
is.
you can go to any gun show that you want to, you'll find out you have a background check before you buy a handgun. Every gun show.
You gotta go
I've
been to those gun
next
shows.
week and take
How
your
thorough is
permit.
that background check?
Pardon?
I mean,
Yeah,
how
really.
thorough is that background check?
It's as thorough as any background check you have at a gun store, an actual gun store.
No, I
No.
really don't know, curious.
It's
Be more
thorough.
specific.
It's thorough. Any violation of the law related to a gun offense, any felony, that comes up on the state police criminal background
Well, you
check.
know, even if someone legally buys
Wait a
gun-
second, remember the rules?
Oh, sorry. I do
Don't want
remember
to
the
get out
rules,
of
but
control
it's
that
the same
way.
topic.
Again, I will not support any further inhibitions or prohibitions on the Second Amendment.
This is not a prohibition. This is talking about making sure we know who has guns and
We do.
keeping people.
We
and
do.
No, you don't.
What we know,
And even people who have legal assault weapons. Like
what's an assault weapon?
An assault weapon is something that shoots multiple rounds at a time that can kill, you know,
Those are
hundreds
illegal.
of people at a time. Right. People have them. The Sandy Hook killer's mother had a legally purchased assault weapon, and she had it locked up. He had the key. She took this.
It wasn't
autistic
automatic.
child who had all sorts of behavioral problems and taught him to use this assault weapon. He knew where the key is.
Who taught him?
Who taught him?
How do you
His mother
regulate the
took
mother?
him. His mother took him to.
How do you regulate the
shooting
mother?
ranges. She had it legally, but
She had it legally.
right, but she let him know where the key was.
Well, again, she had it legally. She did something I would perceive as stupid.
Yeah.
I can't regulate stupid.
Exactly. That's why people who have, we need better controls on whether or not the dangerously mentally ill. I'm not talking about depressed people, you know, I mean, the walking wounded. I'm not talking about those people. But people like, for instance, who have violent tendencies, those aren't on the record. Those people aren't on the record. We need better mental health care reform for people in general, because the mental health care system in this country is broken.
Well,
There
thank you.
are-
We need
go ahead.
to go on, but you're right. We need to continue upgrading the care of mental issues. We need to continue pushing the basic common sense values in our society of people being law-abiding, people understanding that there are rights that we must not step upon. But when we look at cities like Chicago, where I grew up,